I killed my sister with a single phone call, and no one even noticed the body go cold. Her screams echoed in my skull for weeks. But they weren't from pain. They were from the slow unraveling of her perfect life as I whispered the codes that drained her empire dry. By the time the feds kicked in her door, I was sipping champagne in her skin, toasting to the grave she'd dug for me 5 years ago. My name is Haley. Or, at least it used to be.
Now,
When I look in the mirror, it's Elena's face staring back, sharp cheekbones, ice blue eyes that could freeze a boardroom, and lips perpetually curled in that smug half-smile she weaponized to close deals worth millions. Elena Voss, the golden child, the tech wunderkind who built Voss Dynamics from a garage startup into a Silicon Valley behemoth. The sister who framed me for her crimes, let me rot in a hellhole prison for embezzlement I never touched, and then danced on my grave with our parents' blessing. They called it necessary collateral in those hushed family meetings I wasn't invited to anymore. But blood doesn't wash off that easy, does it? Not when it's yours. It started in the sticky summer of 2020, back when the world was choking on wildfires and bad decisions. I was 25, fresh out of Stanford with a psych degree and dreams bigger than my bank account. Elena was 30, already a Forbes 30 under 30, rubbing elbows with venture capitalists in Palo Alto while I scraped by as her unpaid intern, fetching coffee, crunching data, pretending her shadow wasn't suffocating me. Voss Dynamics specialized in neural interfaces, the kind of bleeding-edge shit that promised to revolutionize human connection. Translation: brain implants for richer productivity. Mood hacks for the elite. Elena pitched it as salvation. I saw the dystopian fine print. Our parents, Richard and Margaret Voss, were old money from Boston, Dad a retired hedge fund shark, Mom a socialite who lunched with senators. They doted on Elena, the prodigy who validated their gene pool.
me?
I was the artistic one, the disappointment who majored in feelings instead of finance. But I had Elena's back. Always. When the first whispers of fraud hit, offshore accounts siphoning R&D funds into shell companies, I was the one who dug into the ledgers at 3 a.m., piecing together the mess. It's a glitch, she swore, her hand on my shoulder like we were kids again, braiding hair in the Hamptons. Help me fix it?
Hales.
Family first.
Stupid me.
I believed her. I rerouted the traces, buried the digital footprints, even signed off on dummy transactions to make it look internal. By the time the SEC came knocking, the trail led straight to my login. Elena's alibi? Ironclad. I was the disgruntled sister, jealous of her success, cooking the books for a quick score. The evidence was a house of cards she'd built with my own hands. Trial was a circus, splashy headlines in the Chronicle, pundits on CNBC calling it sibling sabotage in Silicon Valley. Mom testified against me, her voice cracking just enough for the cameras. I never thought she'd stoop so low. Dad didn't even show. Elena? She sat in the gallery, eyes wet with crocodile tears, clutching a tissue like the grieving victim. 5 years. That's what they gave me at San Quentin. 5 years of fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets, cell blocks reeking of bleach and despair, and the endless echo of fresh fish, taunts from lifers who'd seen it all. I learned to fight dirty there, how to shank a guard's ego with a stare, how to trade secrets for smokes. But mostly, I planned. Rage isn't just hot, it's a slow burn, forging you into something unbreakable. By year 3, I'd hacked the prison Wi-Fi with a smuggled burner. Shout out to a hacker named Rico who owed me for smuggling his sister's letters. That's how I found out about Project Echo. VOS Dynamics crown jewel, full neural transference. Not just mood tweaks, total body swaps. Elena had greenlit it in secret, testing on terminal patients first. Swap consciousnesses to let the dying live on in healthier shells. Ethical minefield? Sure. But profitable? Billions. The prototype was glitchy. Sure, side effects like phantom pains, identity bleed, but it worked. And Elena, ever the innovator, had volunteered herself as the control subject. Arrogant bitch. She thought she was untouchable. I got out early on good behavior in 25, a ghost in the system. No fanfare. No family pickup. Just a Greyhound bus to Oakland and a duffel with $200 gate money. Elena's world had exploded in the meantime. VOS Dynamics IPO'd at $50 billion. She was dating a senator's son. And our parents had a New Hamptons estate courtesy of her stock options. I crashed in a Fleabag motel off San Pablo Avenue, scrolling her Instagram under a fake account. There she was, radiant in emerald gowns at galas. Captioning, grateful for second chances. Family forever. The hypocrisy tasted like battery acid. That's when I reached out to Dr. Liang, Elena's lead neuroscientist. I'd met him once. Pre-prison. At a company retreat. Awkward guy. All about ties and moral qualms. But he owed me. I'd covered for his coke habit when HR sniffed around. A burner call from a payphone. Haley Voss. Remember me? I know about the affair with Elena. And the falsified trial data for Echo. He stammered. Sweated through the line. What do you want? Simple. Access. The swap chamber was in a black site lab outside Reno, off-grid. No paper trail. Elena's next session was scheduled for Friday, under the guise of calibration. I drove a stolen Civic through the Nevada dust, heart hammering like a jackhammer. The lab was a squat bunker disguised as a solar farm, razor wire glinting under floodlights. Liang met me at the service entrance, face pale as milk. This is insane. Haley. You'll fry your synapses. I pressed the USB drive into his palm, screenshots of his emails to Elena, the ones begging for more funding to cover his ass. Insane's my middle name now. Do it. Elena arrived at dawn, chauffeured in a black Escalade, hungover from some Napa wine tour. She didn't see me in the shadows, prepped and gowned in the adjacent bay. The chamber hummed to life, cold gel on my temples, for drip burning like fire in my veins. Elena's voice filtered through the intercom, bitching about a headache. Make it quick.
Liang.
I've got a board meeting. Lights strobed, my vision tunneled. And then nothing. Blackness. Absolute and velvet. When I woke, it was to silk sheets and a skyline view of the bay from a penthouse in Pack Heights. I sat up, and the world tilted. Long legs, manicured nails, a reflection that wasn't mine. Elena Voss. I was her. The real Elena, trapped in my body, scarred, tattooed from prison ink, dropped into the motel room I'd rented under a false name. Liang's doing a trank dart and a one-way ticket to oblivion. No swap reversal without his codes. And I'd made sure he disappeared right after his car off a ravine, staged as suicide. First rule of revenge: loose ends get snipped. I spent the first week acclimating. Elena's body moved like a Ferrari, smooth, powerful, every step echoing privilege. Her closet was a warren of designer labels, her calendar, A parade of power lunches. I hacked her phone, memorized her voice patterns, even practiced her laugh, that throaty, dismissive chuckle that sealed deals. By Monday, I was in her boardroom, greenlighting acquisitions like I'd been born to it. No one blinked. Why would they? I was Elena Voss, the unbreakable. But the real fun? The house. Elena had been house hunting, eyeing a $4 million modernist pile in Atherton, 7 bedrooms. Infinity pool. Smart home wired for surveillance. I pulled the trigger on day 5, wiring the deposit from her Cayman accounts. Closing was a blur of realtors fawning over a mess. Voss's impeccable taste. The place was a fortress of glass and steel, perched on 2 acres of manicured nothing, the kind of home that screamed, "I own you," to anyone who dared visit. I sent the invites that night. Embossed cardstock in gold foil. Join Elena Voss for a housewarming soiree. Saturday, 7 p.m. Dress code. Regret. Okay. I tweaked that last part in my head. To our parents. It read pristine. Can't wait to share this milestone with family. CC'd Elena's assistant to handle RSVPs. Mom replied first, polite. Distant. Darling. Richard and I are swamped with the Boston fundraisers. Rain check. Dad's was a forwarded email from his secretary. Apologies. Elena. Travel conflicts. Bullshit. I knew their calendars. They were golfing in Scottsdale. It stung. That old wound ripping open. They'd buried me alive once, testified, turned their backs, toasted Elena's resilience at her engagement party to that smarmy politico. Chad Harrington III.
Chad.
With his trust fund and insider trades, the perfect match for their empire. And me, a footnote in the family scrapbook. Haley, the mistake we don't mention. So, fuck the rain check. If they wouldn't come to my Elena's housewarming, I'd invite someone else. Someone who owed me. Rico, the hacker from Quinton, now running a dark web consultancy in Oakland. He brought his crew, ex-cons with grudges as deep as mine, faces like weathered granite. Then there was Marisol, the prosecutor who'd buried me at trial, now a DA in Sacramento. Ripe for a fall. I doxed her affair with a witness, one anonymous tip to the Bar Association. And she'd show. Sweating bullets.
And for the pièce de résistance?
A whistleblower from Voss Dynamics. A junior engineer named Theo who tried to flag the Echo fraud pre-IPO. Elena had silenced him with NDAs and threats. I'd promised him a platform. Speak your truth, my email read. At my home. Safely. The night arrived like a storm front, clear skies. But air thick with ozone. Caterers swarmed the marble kitchen, laying out heirloom tomatoes and Kobe beef sliders like offerings to a vengeful god. I slipped into a crimson sheath dress, Elena's favorite, the one that hugged like a second skin. Guests trickled in, tech bros in slim-fit suits, influencers snapping stories for clout, a smattering of Elena's friends who air-kissed cheeks without meeting eyes. Rico arrived fashionably late, his leather jacket out of place amid the Chanel, but his grin was all teeth. Nice digs.
Boss.
This the revenge pad. More like the trap house, I murmured,
Clinking his beer.
Marisol slunk in next, eyes darting like a cornered fox, clutching a bottle of mid-tier rose as camouflage. Theo was last, briefcase in hand, nerves jangling. I pulled him aside in the study, walls lined with Elena's first editions, Hemingway, Fitzgerald, all the brooding American ghosts. You ready? He nodded, swallowing hard. The data's ironclad. Echo's swaps aren't consensual, they're coerced. Elena's been harvesting identities from the homeless for test runs. My blood sang. This was it, the thread to unravel her world. But as the party swelled, laughter echoing off the vaulted ceilings, a shadow gnawed at me. Elena. Where was she? Liang's trinket should have worn off days ago. But my burner showed no pings. My old body, scarred. Street-smart Haley was out there, carrying my sister's mind. What if she'd woken up swinging? The pool lights cast sapphire ripples across the deck, turning the soiree into a fever dream of clinking glasses and half-truths. I played hostess like a pro, gliding through clusters of Elena's orbit, VCs probing for IPO dirt, journalists fishing for quotes on disrupting mortality. Neural transference isn't magic, I'd say, echoing her TED Talk cadence. It's evolution. Who wouldn't trade a failing body for a fresh start? They nodded, mesmerized, blind to the irony dripping from my stolen lips. Rico cornered me by the outdoor bar, his breath whiskey sour. Your sister's got heat on her tail. You know. Fed's been sniffing around those offshore wires again. I feigned surprise. Elena's arched brow perfected in the mirror that morning. Really? Must be that jealous ex-intern stirring shit. He barked a laugh, but his eyes were sharp. Rico didn't know the full swap. To him, I was just a vengeful ghost pulling strings. Heard she got popped for fraud back in the day. You think she's dumb enough to try again? Dumb?
No.
Calculated. That's what made Elena lethal. But in my skin, she was adrift, no Rolodex, no private jets. I picture her, waking groggy in that Oakland dump, staring at Haley's reflection, faded prison tats snaking up arms that once keyed limbos, eyes brown and haunted instead of Arctic blue. Panic first, then fury. She'd claw her way back. I knew it. Call mom and dad. Spin some sob story about a breakdown or identity crisis. They'd buy it, they always did for her. Marisol hovered near the fire pit, nursing her rose like it was holy water. I sauntered over. The click of Louboutins a metronome to her doom. District Attorney Reyes, such an honor. Elena's told me all about your thorough work on that Voss case. Her face drained of color, the bonfire's glow turning her skin sallow. I don't know what you mean.
Lies.
I'd attached the affair photos to her invite. Her and the star witness, tangled in a Reno motel.
Oh. Come now.
We all have skeletons. Question is, do you want yours exhumed? She stammered, spilling wine on her blouse. What do you want? MS. Voss. Testimony. I leaned in, voice a silken blade. At the next SEC hearing. Swear under oath that the Voss trial was railroaded. Elena, me pressured you. Her eyes widened. Blackmail within blackmail. If she flipped, Elena's house of cards toppled, and my innocence surfaced like a bloated corpse. You'll destroy me, or save yourself. Tick-tock. She nodded, broken, and slunk away to text her lawyer. One down. Theo was the wild card, pacing the library like a caged wolf. I found him thumbing Elena's desk drawer unlocked, because why would she hide from herself? The files, he whispered when I entered. You kept them? I'd planted them that morning. Encrypted drives with Echo's dirty laundry, coerced swaps on undocumented migrants, neural logs of screams digitized into data. Insurance, I said. Elena's lilt making it sound casual. The board meets Monday. Leak it then. He hesitated.
Moral campespining.
This could crash the stock. Ruin lives. Including mine. If Elena clawed back. But ruin? That's the point. Or expose the truth. People like us overlooked. Used up, we get to choose for once. We stepped out to the terrace, where the Atherton Hills rolled dark and silent, dotted with estates like fortresses for the damned. Guests milled below, oblivious to the storm brewing. That's when my phone buzzed, a blocked number. Heart slamming, I answered. Breathing, ragged and familiar. Haley, Elena's voice, but laced with my old Brooklyn edge from prison stories. She'd picked it up fast. You bitch. What the fuck did you do? I slipped into the powder room, locking the door, the marble cold under my palms.
Elena.
Fancy hearing from you in my throat, a choked laugh. Bitter. This body, it's
Wrong.
the scars, the weakness. I feel everything you felt in here.
Good.
Let it burn. Karma's a neural link.
Cease.
How's the motel?
Clean sheets.
Silence, then a snarl. Mom and Dad are wiring money. I'll be back by dawn. Liang's dead, but I have backups. The reversal protocol. I hung up, smashing the burner against the sink. Backups. Of course. Elena never traveled without a plan B. But she didn't know about Rico's crew, already seeding malware into VOS servers from the guest Wi-Fi. Or Marisol, forwarding her confession to a podcaster buddy of mine. The party was a web, sticky and lethal, and she was blundering right into it. By midnight, the energy shifted, whispers rippling like smoke. A tech bro had spotted Theo's briefcase, peeked at a printout. Holy shit. Voss is swapping bodies with illegals. Phones lit up. Texts flying to Bloomberg tip lines. I smiled into my champagne flute, bubbles sharp as victory. Then Mom called, Elena's main line. The one I'd synced. Darling, we saw the invites. Decided to surprise you after all. Be there in 20. Surprise? My gut twisted. They were coming. To Elena's home. In Elena's body. While the real her scraped bottom in mine. Irony's so thick it choked. I texted Rico. Ramp it up.
Now.
He nodded from across the room, fingers dancing on his phone. Alarms would trigger soon, silent alerts to the feds. Stock dumps timed for pre-market.
Chaos.
Curated. The doorbell chimed as the first sirens wailed distant. A siren song. Mom swept in first.
Chanel no.
5 cutting the air like a knife. Dad trailing with his bourbon and branch scowl. They air-kissed cheeks, eyes scanning the opulence.
Elena.
This place is divine, Mom cooed, but her gaze lingered, searching, suspicious. You look different. Healthier? The swaps bleed. Maybe. Or maternal instinct. That bullshit sixth sense. Dad clapped my shoulder. Too hard. Heard about the SEC noise. Need me to call my guy at Justice? Always the fixer. Burying messes under settlements. I forced Elena's smile. All under control.
Dad.
Wine. We migrated to the great room, where Theo had commandeered the AV, projecting echo demos on the 80-inch screen. The crowd gaping at glitchy footage of swaps gone wrong, subjects thrashing, identities fracturing. Gasps. Then outrage. Is this real? Someone yelled. Marisol bolted for the door. But Rico blocked it casual-like. Beer in hand. Mom's face hardened.
Elena.
What the hell is this?
Ah.
The mask slipping. They had always known about the fraud. The frame job. Dad's guy had greased the trial palms. Mom's luncheons funded the cover-up. Deep betrayal. Rotten to the core. Just a little transparency. Mother. I dropped the act. My voice cracking into Haley's raw timbre. Their eyes widened, recognition dawning. Horror blooming. You, Dad hissed.
How?
Elena burst through the side gate then, wild-eyed in my old hoodie, flanked by two goons in ill-fitting suits, her security detail, traced from the motel ping. Haley, she screamed, lunging. The room froze. A tableau of shattered illusions. Rico's malware hit. Screens flickered to life with Voss ledgers. My forged signatures highlighted in red. Sirens grew louder.
Closing in.
In the melee, Elena tackled me, sister against sister, body against body. Her fists in my face felt like home.
Knuckles splitting Elena's perfect lip.
Give it back, she wailed, nails raking. I need her, my own thigh, strong from yard time and rolled free. Guests scattered like roaches. Mom fainted dramatically into Dad's arms. Theo live-streamed it all. The whistleblower's wet dream. Cops breached as Elena pinned me again. My eyes feral. It's mine. All of it. Flashbangs popped. Zip ties snapped. They hauled us both. Twins in chaos. While the feds swarmed the drives. Mom watched from the ambulance, whispering to Dad, which one's which? He shook his head.
Defeated.
For the first time, they looked small. Interrogation was a circus, separate rooms, mirrored glass, lawyers circling like sharks. I sat in Elena's silk blouse, bloodied but unbroken, feeding the detectives just enough. The frame, the swap, the parents' complicity.
Elena.
In my jumpsuit, ranted about imposters and neural hacks, but without Liang. It sounded like meth-fueled delusion. By dawn, the stocks cratered 40%. Headlines screamed Voss sisters' body swap scandal, and Marisol's confession leaked to the Times. But as they processed us, Elena leaned through the bars. Voice of venomous whisper. You think this ends it? I hid more. The real secret, the one you took the fall for, wasn't just fraud. My blood iced. What secret? The embezzlement was clean. I'd buried it myself. What are you? A guard yanked her away. Doubt wormed in. A crack in my armor. Revenge tasted sweet. But what if the poison lingered? Solitary in the county lockup was a downgrade from Quentin. Thinner walls. Louder echoes. But the same soul-crushing hum of regret. They separated us. Elena in protective custody as the victim's CEO, me and Jen Pop under Haley Voss, aka impersonator. Funny how the system flips when privilege swaps skins. My court-appointed suit was a harried public defender named Patel. All caffeine shakes and crumpled notes. Plea insanity, he urged over styrofoam coffee. The body swap thing? Juries eat that up, sci-fi gold. I laughed. A hollow bark. Insanity?
No.
This was clarity. Razor sharp. The arraignment was media madness. Helicopters thumping overhead. Reporters shoving mics like bayonets. MS. Voss, or should I say Vosses, care to comment on the neural heist? I stared blank. Elena's poise a shield.
She,
though, cracked wide on the courthouse steps. screaming at cameras, "My sister's a monster. She stole my life." Cut to commercial. But the clip went viral, 6 million views by lunch. Memes of us as evil twins in a Black Mirror reboot. Voss Dynamics suspended trading. The board ousted Elena, pending investigation. But since I was her, it felt like amputating my own limb. Mom and Dad lawyered up fast, separate firms, of course, to dodge collusion charges. Their visit came day 3, through plexiglass in a room reeking of desperation. Mom first, pearls clutched like rosaries. "Haley, darling, this is a nightmare." Elena's distraught.
Distraught?
Try deranged. I pressed the receiver to my ear. "You mean the daughter you framed me for? The one you testified against?" Her lips thinned. "It was business. Haley." Voss legacy. Legacy. I spat the word, venom lacing Elena's refined vowels. "You sold me out for stock tips. Dad's guy buried the evidence. You funded the cover. I have emails."
Mom.
From the motel Wi-Fi hack. Her eyes flickered. Guilt. Or calculation. We protected Elena. She was the future. And I was the sacrificial lamb. Gagged and gutted. Dad shuffled in next, avoiding my gaze. "This swap bullshit, undo it." Elena's got the reversal codes memorized.
Lies. Ide batar guarda Lian's laptop. No backups.
Too late.
Dad.
The feds have the drives. Your donations to Marisol's campaign? Sloppy. He leaned close, breath fogging the glass. You destroy her. You destroy us all. Think of the family.
Family.
The word curdled. Family got me 5 years. Now it's payback. He left without another word. But I saw the fracture, the empire crumbling under their feet. Outside, the world spun wild. Protests erupted in Palo Alto. My body, my mind, chants outside Voss HQ. Picketers in tinfoil hats waving signs about soul theft. Theo's stream hit 20 million. He lawyered up too. Shopping a book deal.
Rico boosted. Smart kid.
Probably sunning in Belize with the crypto haul from the stock dump. Marisol resigned in disgrace. Her affair splashed across Drudge. And Elena? She lawyered harder. Chad's daddy pulling strings for a psych eval. Delusional disorder, her shrink testified. The patient believes she's her sister. Gaslighting. Voss style. Bail hearing was theater, me in orange. Elena in Chanel. Playing the shattered heiress. The judge, a grizzled ex-prosecutor with a hard-on for tech crime, set mine at $10 mil. Hers at 0. Public safety risk, he grunted, eyeing my violent history. Elena's smirk as they uncuffed her? Nuclear. She mouthed gotcha from the gallery. That night, in my cell, doubt festered. Her parting shot at the party, the real secret, looped like a bad remix. What had I missed? The fraud was straightforward, $20 mill laundered through fake vendors. I'd signed off, sure, but Elena orchestrated. Unless. Patel slipped me a visitor log next morning. Unlogged entry. Elena.
Pre-swap.
Visiting the lab with a duffel. Security cam stills showed her handing Liang a vial, unmarked, glowing faint under UV. Not just fraud. Drugs? Voss had dabbled in nootropics. But this? I sweet-talked a guard, SIGs for access to the law library terminal. Buried in patent filings, Echo's precursor. A serum for enhanced transference stability. Unapproved. Untrialed. Human testing?
On me.
During those intern audits, Elena hadn't just framed me, she'd dosed me, years back, to test neural mapping. My blackouts at work, the migraines, side effects. The embezzlement fall, cover for the real crime, illegal human experimentation. I was the guinea pig, the disposable sister. My mind probed and logged while she harvested data for the IPO. Rage reignited, hotter than before.
But now.
Leverage. I fed Patel the patent cross-ref. He subpoenaed the lab remains. Feds swarmed again, digging up Liang's suicide notes, forged by me, but pointing to Elena's vials. Her bail revoked that afternoon. Chad dumped her via text. The coward.
PR nightmare, it read.
I laughed till it hurt, the sound echoing off cinderblocks. Confrontation came in the exercise yard, shared for family therapy, the shrink's idea of progress. Elena looked wrecked in my old body, hair matted.
Tatt stark under fluorescentpallor.
You found it, she said.
No priambel.
Circling like a shark. The serum. I nodded, arms crossed over Elena's lithe frame. You turned me into your lab rat. Blackouts. Headaches, data points for your billions. Her laugh was mine, rough and unfiltered. You were always so soft. Haley. Psych degree? Useless. But your brain resilient, adaptive. Perfect for baseline testing. The fraud? Just misdirection. SEC looks at money, not molecules, monomers. The serum's key, synthetic proteins rewriting synapses, prepping for swaps. Illegal as hell. FDA red flags everywhere. Mom and Dad knew? A nod. Casual as confession. Dad sourced the compounds from his pharma contacts. Mom handled the consent forms. You signed them, remember? In your sleep. Consent. The ultimate betrayal. Stolen in the night. Why me? She shrugged, my shoulders rising. Blood's easiest to spill. No traces. We lunged then, fists and fury. Guards yelling over the chain link. Her blows landed soft in my weakened shell, mine cracked ribs in hers. Elena's strength a borrowed godsend. Give it back, she gasped, blood trickling from my split knuckles. Never. Tackled to the gravel. Her knee on my throat, ironic. Sister suffocating sister. The twist. Haley, the serum didn't just map you. It bonded us. Reversal kills both.
Lie?
Truth? Her eyes, my eyes, gleamed manic. Sirens wailed. Tasers popped. Separated again. But the seed planted. Our minds entwined. A Gordian knot of vengeance. News broke that night. Voss indictments expanded. Experimentation charges. Conspiracy. Stocks tanked to pennies. The Hamptons pile foreclosed. Mom and Dad flipped first. Plea deals for immunity. Spilling on Elena's ops. We thought it was voluntary. Mom sobbed to 60 Minutes. Mascara rivers. Dad stonewalled. But his guys sang sweeter. The family imploded. Legacy ash. My trial loomed, but momentum shifted. Screens of serum logs proving my innocence and Elena's monstrosity. Marisol. From the stand, the Voss case was tainted from jump. Haley was scapegoated. Juries love redemption arcs. Mine was catnip. Elena's? A villain's soliloquy. Unraveling in cross-exam. She deserved it. The weak link. As verdicts neared, Patel pulled me aside. The bond thing bullshit. Liang's files confirm reversal's work. but with risks. 60% success. Choice loomed. Stay Elena. Rule the ruins. Or risk it all for Haley's skin. Power versus self. Controversial as hell. Who wouldn't debate trading souls for score settling? The courtroom in San Francisco smelled of polished oak and stale ambition. Sunlight slanting through blinds like judgment's fingers. Verdict day. Elena first. Me watching from the defense table in a borrowed pantsuit. Elena's curves straining the seams. The foreman, a burly ex-cop with a mustache like steel wool, read it flat. Guilty on all counts. Fraud. Experimentation. Conspiracy. Gasps rippled. Elena surged up. Chains rattling. Lies. She's the thief. Bailiffs wrestled her down. My own face twisted in rage, a mirror to my prison mugshots. Sentencing. 25 to life.
No parole.
Federal pen. Supermax. The real Voss legacy, a cell block throne. My turn was quieter. The air thick with anticipation. Patel's closing had been fire. Haley Voss didn't steal a life. She reclaimed it. From a family that discarded her like code. Evidence piled like an avalanche, serum vials from the lab wreckage. Mom's emails handled a sister problem. Dad's wire transfers to black market chemists. The embezzlement? Quashed, my signatures forged under duress.
For the neurologs.
Jury deliberated 2 hours. Not guilty, the foreman intoned, and the room exhaled. Acquitted.
Free.
But freedom's a tricky bitch. Reporters mobbed the steps. Haley, plans for the company. Voss Dynamics was carcass now, assets seized, patents litigated to dust. I owned nothing but Elena's emptied accounts and a ghost of a grudge. Mom and Dad, community service and fines. Their Hamptons sold for pennies. They slunk to Boston. Ghosts in linen. Mom's luncheons swapped for AA meetings. Dad's last email, forgive us? Deleted unread. The reversal chamber waited in a UCLA annex, government seized. Sanitized for research. No Young. But a team of eggheads in white coats. Grant-funded and gawking. Risks are high, the lead doc warned. A woman with kind eyes and a German accent.
Synaptic echo memory might bleed permanent.
Or rejection. Coma. At worst. I nodded. Signing waivers. Stay as Elena?
Tempting.
Her body hummed, with doors opened. Networks. Net worth. The sheer ease of being untouchable. But it was stolen thunder. Every breath a lie. Haley's skin called, scarred, earned.
Mine.
Strapped in, gel cold on temples. The hum built like a migraine prelude. Elena's face faded in the monitors, drugged for transport, snarling from her cell feed. You'll die screaming, she mouthed. Maybe. The four burned, vision splintering into fractals. Flashes, her boardroom triumphs. My yard fight scars, Mom's betrayal smile. Dad's golf swing, the serum's glow. Blackouts, folding like origami. Whose memory?
Ours.
Bonded, as she said, not killer, but curse. A shared haunt. Vengeance's half-life. I woke to beeps and bleach. Body heavy as lead. Brown eyes in the mirror. Mine. Freckled nose. The jagged scar from a Quinton shank. Haley Voss. 2.0. Success rate? They wouldn't say. But the bleed lingered. Elena's laugh bubbled up unbidden. Her deal-closing poise stiffened my spine. Gifts or ghosts? Therapy would unpack it. If I bothered. The $4 million house sold quick, fire sale to a crypto bro who didn't mind the stigma. Proceeds split with victims' funds. The swapped homeless. Theo's legal aid. I kept the infinity pool photo. Framed ironic on my new studio walk-up in the Mission. Taillights fading. Me. Elena then, poised on the steps. Symbol of the summit.
The fall.
Rico resurfaced months later. Postcard from Belize. Oh, you.
Boss.
Real Haley suits you. Theo's book hit bestseller lists, dedicating a chapter to the sister who swapped back.
Marisol? Disbarred.
But clean now. Volunteering at shelters. Redemption's messy. Elena rotted in ADX Florence. Appeals denied. Rumors. She claimed swaps in her sleep. Convinced guards she was me. Schizo. They called it. Or truth. Fraying the edges. I visited once. Plexiglass between us. Her, my face gaunt. Worth it, she rasped. I leaned close. Every scar. But as I left, her whisper trailed. The serum's in you too. Wait for the bleed. Paranoia? Or prophecy? Blackouts crept back some nights, waking with her codes on my lips. Deals half-struck in dreams. Ending? Debatable. I walk San Francisco's fog-choked streets now. Free but fractured. Haley with Elena's edge. A hybrid haunting my reflection. Justice served? The parents' empire dust. Sisters thrown a cage. My name cleared in headlines that faded fast. Happy? In the American way. Bootstraps laced with barbed wire. Triumph tasting of ash. Tragic? If you buy blood's debt never clears. Souls swapped leave stains no serum washes out.
Me?
I sleep sound. Mostly. But when the mirror fogs, I wonder, who's looking back? The hook closes. I threw the party to burn it all. But the fire took pieces of me too. Worth the warmth? You tell me.